You ever been booed by a room that once cheered your name and felt for one strange beat that the boos were almost fair? That's where Bo Nix found himself after a gritty, ugly 10-7 win over the Raiders. The scoreboard said victory, but the stadium sounded like a jury passing judgment. He didn't flinch. He didn't plead. He answered like a quarterback who knows the season is a long conversation, not a single headline. Let's be honest. It was a night built for grumbling. Denver's defense did what it always seems to do, turned pressure into results, sacked Geno Smith 6 times, and reminded everyone why the Broncos sit high in the division. Meanwhile, Nix threw for 150 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, and a passer rating that looked better on paper than how it felt in the stands. The offense stalled, trick plays fell flat, and the crowd, hungry for spectacle, booed when punts and mistakes stacked up. The city was right to be frustrated. The team was right to win. Both things can be true. That tension is the core of the moment. Fans come paid to watch, and they expect entertainment and production, come to execute under pressure and pick up wins. When those two standards diverge, when the team wins but the process is ugly, the noise turns into a catalyst. For a rookie or a young starter, that noise can either erode confidence or sharpen it into focus. Tonight, it sounded like Bo chose the latter. He said the thing you want leaders to say, that he understands how the game and the crowd work. Not a canned soundbite, not a manufactured apology, but a compact, unapologetic acceptance. He knows the boos aren't personal so much as performance-based feedback. You play, people react, sometimes loudly. That's the contract of being the guy under the helmet. You own the mistakes. You take the applause. You answer with more work. And answer he must. Because this team is both blessed and cursed by its defense. The pass rush is historic, a relentless engine that has made quarterbacks uncomfortable week after week. That unit can and will win you games when the offense sputters. But even the best defenses need rest, and no defensive line can keep an offense complacent forever. The ledger is simple. Wins build records, but consistent offense builds sustainability. The Broncos have to marry those two to survive the long haul. So what does that marriage look like? It's not a single roster move or a magical play call. It's a patient series of small surgical improvements. It looks like sharpening the run game so the offense can chew clock and give the D a breather. It looks like cleaner third down reads, fewer penalties, and ball security in traffic. It looks like a receiver who can be trusted in clutch moments and a line that can hold for a beat longer. The booing won't stop the work, but it should speed it up. There's also a psychological currency at play. Bo Nix has moments on tape where he looks calm and surgical. He also has nights where the timing is off and the throws are just a half beat late. The difference between those versions is often mental elasticity, the ability to scrub a bad play, learn, and move on in the same drive. That trait separates quarterbacks who survive growing pains from those who become the story that season. Fans will boo, teams reframe. Leaders repeat the simple math. Next matters more than last play. Look at the context. 8-2, top of the AFC West, a skyline of possibility. This isn't a team collapsing. It's a team with questions. They're 3 games ahead of where they were at this point last season, which buys them latitude. That margin of error is precious. It grants the offense time to find itself while the defense shoulders heavy workloads. But it's not an indefinite grace period. The league calendar is a stern timer. Eventually, you face opponents with enough depth and discipline to exploit an overused defense against and an offense that can't sustain drives. Coaches know this, and so do players. That's why the message in the locker room after a game like this is always twofold. Savor the win, then fix the film. The offseason narrative of we'll figure it out has to be replaced by concrete adjustments now. Tweaks in protection calls, rebalanced snap counts, maybe even schematic changes to get the ball out of Nix's hands quicker on third down. The next 10 days off before Week 11 are a gift in this sense. Time to heal, time to teach, time to iterate. Players hear boos different than fans. To them, boos are fuel or acid. Some let them corrode confidence. Others let them cook a resolve so hot it changes the next week's practice. For a quarterback, the best response is a quiet one. Improved tape, cleaner mechanics, and leadership that radiates calm. Words are cheap in a locker room. Actions aren't. When your teammates watch you stand tall after criticism, they lean into you. That's the kind of currency Nix needs to build. And for the fans, who want a statement more than a sermon, there's a season's worth of patience to be negotiated. Fans love narratives, the comeback, the duel, the explosive play. They're less patient with building phases. That friction is normal in big market teams where expectations outgrow patience. But winning, even ugly, is still a better tonic than whining about style. The job now is to convert gritty wins into cleaner, louder ones that don't invite boos. We should also acknowledge a subtle truth. Sometimes boos are the right medicine at the right time. They tighten focus. They remind players of their obligations to the city. They force coaches to confront issues that highlights and wins might otherwise mask. A booed win can be better than a comfortable win because it leaves no room for complacency. The arc of this season is still being written. The Broncos have built defensive credibility that gives them latitude. Bo Nix has the chance to prove he's the kind of quarterback who grows into the noise instead of being broken by it. The next stretch of the schedule will be revealing. A win against a stout opponent with cleaned-up offense will flatten the boo chorus. A string of close, clunky victories will keep the whispers alive and the pressure heavy. For now, take the picture that matters. A quarterback who got booed, who didn't cave, who spoke plainly, and kept the team moving forward. That's not a full answer. It's a start. The real test is tomorrow's practice, the next game, the film room, the adjustments that are made when no one is watching. That's where leaders are born. Bo Nix didn't get the cheers he wanted after a messy win. He got the crowd's honest reaction, and he gave them the only thing that heals boos, a willingness to show up again. Next play, next practice, next week. In a sport built on second chances, that's the most important sentence a young QB can write. You want the blunt version, here it is. Win ugly, sit with it. That could have been Bo Nix's mantra after Denver scraped by the Las Vegas Raiders 10-7. The Broncos came away with the W, and with the kind of home crowd chorus that says, we'll accept the result, but we won't forgive the performance. Denver's defense carried the night. The offense led by Nix got booed for doing basically everything fans hate: slow drives, penalties, and 2 interceptions. This is the kind of win that feels like a bandage. It holds, but it doesn't heal the wound. AP News, you remember the scene. Mile high, Wynn doing weird things to punts and passes, and Geno Smith getting flattened 6 times while Denver's defensive frenzy pushed the Broncos to a ridiculous 46 sacks through 10 games, the most any team has posted in its first 10 since at least 1990. The defense looked like a machine. The offense looked like it forgot the keys at home. That contrast explains the boos. Fans reward results, but they worship style, and when the style goes missing, the crowd gets loud. Yahoo Tetao Bo Nix didn't duck the noise. He stared at it, called it what it was, and delivered one of those lines that's simple but real. I've been booed before, and I'll be booed again. That quote lands 2 ways. Publicly, it's calm, collected, a QB who accepts the theater of the NFL. Privately, it's steel. He's saying he'll take the hits if the team keeps winning. That's the job description for a starter in a pressure cooker city. Still, acknowledgement doesn't equal fix. The boos are a symptom. Nix's words are the first step toward diagnosis. NBC Sports, let's be vivid about what went wrong offensively, because fans aren't irrational to be frustrated. The Broncos had 7 3-and-outs in 13 possessions. Penalties outnumbered first downs. The playbook looked conservative in spots it shouldn't have been, and the timing between Nix and his receivers, off. 2 interceptions make the tape unforgiving. Bad reads, placement off by inches, and a pocket that didn't always give him the clean mechanics he needs. In short, the offense kept flirting with self-sabotage while the defense carried the ledger. AP News, but here's the nuance fans and critics often miss. A quarterback's job isn't to be a hermit who only cares about optics. It's to lead a team across 52 weeks of chaos. Nix's response, owning the problem, it starts with me, is what you want to hear from a leader. He said the offense has to find some juice and that scoring 10 points can't be the standard. That's accountability in plain language. The next step is turning that rhetoric into film room lessons and rep counts in practice. Words are warming up. Execution is the main set. WRL.com, now for the other half of the story. Defense as identity. Nick Bonito, Jonathan Cooper, Zach Allen, and the rotation cooked all night. When a defense is creating chaos, pressure, turnovers, blocked kicks, it buys an offense time to find its rhythm. That's not a cop-out for offensive sloppiness. It's a team-level strategy. Still, a strategy that leans permanently on the defense's heroics invites instability. When December comes and matchups tighten, the offense's inability to produce consistently will show up on the scoreboard in ways Denver won't like. Yahoo Tetao. So what does Bo Nix need to do between now and week 11? 3 blunt prescriptions. 1, stop the self-inflicted damage. Fewer penalties, cleaner pre-snap alignment, and tighter decision-making in the pocket. If Nix is going to be the quarterback who wins with his arm, he must make safer reads early and only take the high-risk, high-reward throws with clearer timing.